Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Metadime channel. This is the Coffee Break Show. I'm Vickie Helm, and I'm so glad you're with us today. Listen, if you're new to the Metadime channel, we provide shows that help create thrivability, that make you think differently, that help you grow more prosperity over your time in life. We talk about business, life, and family. And these are the things that are important to us. And we share all kinds of tips, tools, and we are on a mission just to create thrivability in the world. I want to welcome you to Thursday. And we are so excited that you're here today. I have a very strong topic. I am going to talk about the false narrative and hidden agenda and your future. I want to really get into that today because for some reason it has been around. Good morning, Karen. Nice to see you, my friend. For a long time, people are talking about it like wildfire. It's a big conversation on the internet. And today I want to get down to the real nitty-gritty, get down to the real truth of it, and have a cup of coffee at it same time. The Coffee Break Show, we just hang out, have a cup of coffee, have a conversation, and we have more inspiration and more motivation and more productivity in our day. If you're new here, do me a favor, put your name down below. Let me know you. I'd love to meet you and say hello to you. And if you're one of those people that are here every day that are jumping on board right now, do me a favor and say hello in the comments so I can see who's here with me. Thank you for being with me today. So I want to talk about the truth. I want to talk about one of the hardest truths ever. And there are so many false narratives running around the world today that we exonerate ourselves from even having truth. And so I'm new here. Hello. Thank you. Nice to see you, my friend. Good morning. It's so great to see you guys. Thank you. So last night, actually, I was visiting a friend. I'm not going to say which friend I was visiting, but it was somebody very close to me who kind of looks like the guy on the screen. And we were talking about the false narrative. Good morning, beautiful people. Nice to see you. So Lushand, I think that's how we say it. Lushand. I'm still trying to get this straight in my head, but welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here today. So the false narrative, your new friend. Yes. I was out talking to my new friend last night. So what happened last night in the conversation was we were talking about the possibilities of things. And I discussed it a lot because it helps me have the direction I want to have on my show. I really want to deliver a lot of value. I want to deliver a lot of prosperity, a lot of anything that can help you grow and change and have more prosperity in your life. So I was thinking about that and I was like, okay, what's the truth? And so I was talking. And then my new friend said to me, but you don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about anything because when the time comes, you'll know what the next move is. And I thought that is some of the deepest stuff we have talked about because everybody's talking about a false narrative and what could happen. And we're so busy listening outwardly that we're not listening inwardly. And I thought, now, why am I doing that? Why is it that I am out there? So good morning, everyone. Nice to see you on. So why is it that I am out there this morning? Why is it that I am out there watching instead of listening inward? And I want to get to the real nitty gritty right here. The reason we don't want to listen to inward, even though listening inward is the only way out, is the only way to read the future right now, we are entertained, our ego is entertained by the stories of false narratives and hidden agendas and what it means to your future. It's like if we uncover this great conspiracy, we can all say, see, that's why I haven't been able to achieve. You see, that's why this happened to me, and that's why I'm not ahead. You see, they were sabotaging me all the way along, and that's how come we. And so what happens is when you get to the point where you look at good morning, when you get to the point where you're wondering that, I thought to myself, I wonder if this is true. So I purposely and willfully put up a post last night that I knew was contentious in the world. And then I put some other posts. I put some positive posts up. I put some humorous posts up. And interestingly enough, everybody went for that false narrative hidden agenda post. Everybody. And there was discussion and everything. And I read it all and I wanted to see what the mindset was inside there. And do you know what I think? I think we like negativity. I think the whole world likes negativity. So here's what I know. I know that everyone knows what the secret is, or how to manifest something, how to visualize what their life is going to be like, and how to take, everyone knows the skill sets and steps to take to make the life you want to have happen. But we would rather concentrate on this incredibly entertaining, egotistical story about how the world is being taken over and etc. And it's like, maybe the world is, but you aren't the world. The world is in you. You aren't the world. You're not living in that. And so what happens is, hey, Ryan, nice to see you. I knew you'd be on today. What happens is we take our eyes off of what we were doing with this. When we start getting involved in everything out there, we take our focus away right here from what's happening in our world, what we need to do, how we need to move, what would be best for us. We get to the point where we believe in the false narrative and hidden agenda so much and how it's going to affect our future that we don't listen to what our future is telling us to do. And you know what? I think we want that to happen. I think when I sat down, I thought, you know what? I could procrastinate by listening to the false narrative and hidden agendas, because you see, I'm trying to find the truth. I'm out there trying to find, I'm a patriot out there trying to find the truth. And the truth is, the more you try to find your hidden agendas, the more you're avoiding your own hidden agendas. Your agenda is to be entertained and move and uncover. I'm uncovering this with you. What are you going to do about your personal skills and your personal knowing? Everyone knows everyone knows how things manifest. It doesn't matter whether you believe in the movie The Secret. You can go back from Tony Robbins to Bucky Fuller to Jim Rohn to any personal development. You could go back to Einstein. You could go back to Socrates. You can go back in history and it tells you what you need to do to manifest. When we believe the false narrative and hidden agendas, we are probably telling ourselves that we can't overcome this. We are not saying, how can I overcome this? We're like, this is the reason I'm not, because they are and they don't. And so I have to find that hidden truth. And I'm telling the truth. I'm walking the truth. And then we divide ourselves into two sides. We're like, you're cracked up and crazy. This is the truth. No, you're cracked up and crazy, and this is the truth. And then we spend the time debating each other, cracked up and crazy, and this is the truth. Are you cracked up and crazy? Whose side? And then the debates come on there. That's negative intimacy. It's counter intentions. We know that what we focus on grows. And if that's the truth, why would you give that any attention at all? Think about that. I'm going to give you a minute. If you know that what you focus on grows, why would you give that any energy at all? Why would we keep planting seeds in it at all? We forget to tend to our own garden when we give something else energy. But here's the thing, when you give that energy and you're not giving the thing you're supposed to be wanting to do energy, which thing is dying? Is it the false narrative that's dying? No, the false narrative is growing. Why? Because that's where your attention is. And I caught myself doing it yesterday. I caught myself in a moment. And in that moment, if you have real friends, they won't let you, excuse me for saying this, bullshit yourself. They won't let you get up in your head and meander around saying false narratives to your own self. Don't you take your eyes off what's there for you. And don't you let anything in the world make you believe that you can't achieve. Don't you let anything take you out of the fact that you can achieve. Because once it starts doing that and you believe those false narratives and you pull it back over, you have sabotaged yourself. And those kind of things right now, you don't want to have in your life. I know that this is a tough morning and it's all over the news and it's everywhere, but what you focus on grows. And that means every drop of energy that you're feeling, hey, Teresa, nice to see you. Every drop of energy that you are feeling towards that thing is helping it explode. And that's the whole thing with politics and the deciding. Everybody thinks they're uncovering the truth. The truth is you're avoiding the truth, your truth. You're trying to decipher what their truth is, and they want you to be confused. You need to pull back, suck that energy there and say, where do I want to put my precious focus, my precious energy? And here's the thing, when we're in counter intentions, when we're in negative intimacy, we are not in divine purpose. When you focus on divine purpose and you give that energy, you give that focus, what's going to happen? That's a big difference right there. I want to check in with the people. The truth is simple, but people can't accept that. They think it must be something more difficult. So they create chaos trying to find the truth. That's the whole, I had a friend of mine who had a cup of coffee and he said, you know what my biggest thing was that stopped me from succeeding? And I said, what? And he said, well, my family were doomsday sayers. And it made it like, I don't need to do anything because the world's going to end very soon. So for the first while, I haven't done anything. I keep waiting for this unknown thing to collapse on the planet. And I keep paying attention to when it's going to end, this big thing, this big calamity that's going to happen. And I know I'm right and I'm going to save my family. And that narrative is based on what you say. You are whatever you say you are. Look at this. I feel this dark mind today, fighting the victim mentality of helplessness. Yes, that's what they want you to feel, helpless. And you aren't. You are not helpless. I like this here. Yes, we forget to nurture the truth within us. That's right. And my point is, whatever you focus on grows. And I realized that my new friend was trying to tell me that all of this is happening around and you don't want to be in it or of it. Just observe it and observe it with the intention of holding your view and your process and where you're supposed to go. And the only way to hear that isn't on the news. It's not on Twitter. It's not on the Facebook feeds. The only place you can find that narrative is right in here. That's the only place you can find the narrative, the true narrative, the real narrative, the one specifically designed for you. Everybody always wants to find their divine purpose. Great. If you want to be in divine purpose, you have to be out of negative intimacy and out of your counter intention. You have to be in your full divine intention, not counter intentions. And when you get to the point where you believe there's a hidden agenda that's made to sabotage you, that's going to take over the world and try to control you in every minute, if you believe that, you're adding that energy to that. And I don't believe we have to become violent to overcome. I think we need to take actions to overcome. And we look at Gandhi, it was very simple. He never once shot anybody and freed an entire country. So you cannot shoot someone, probably free your entire household. I'm not asking you to free an entire country. You're just looking to free your entire household and not participate in the belief that you are unable to do something about it, that you don't have something within you that can't overcome it. These are the false narratives that have a hidden agenda to make sure that you don't achieve. There is more of the battle out here going on in here. It's a reflection. You have to choose right now. What place do you want to be in? What narratives do you want to be in? Do you want to be in the divine narrative where you're following your purpose and you're living next to, the divine, and you have some guidance, some master, some divinity showing you what to do? Or you want to be in the confusion narrative where you don't know what to do, you're making excuses, and you're looking all day fooling yourself that you're going to find the truth. There's no truth in there. There's none, zero, nada, not on either side. The truth is with you. The truth is inside you. Truth is not, it's like if you're over in this narrative, the narrative is like a one size fits all. It's going to be everybody. It's going to be everybody who's being led astray. So with my new friend, he has something to say. Save your family, but lose your life's potential. Yes, that's it says save your family, lose your life's potential. Yes, very intense period of time for many. Yes, it is. It's a very intense time. It's so intense, but the real thing is, if you go inward and you find where you think you can't do something about it, or you don't know what to do, or you're saying to yourself something isn't working the way it used to, you're right. Something isn't working the way it used to, but it doesn't mean nothing's working. It means something else is working. And we have to go inside and we say, what is the thing that is working right now that is here for me? What is it that I'm supposed to do? And I will let you know, that thing isn't easy. That thing is probably something you've been avoiding all your life. That has the reason you haven't jumped to where you want to be. I want to pop over here for a second and say, there's so many of you here. Thank you for being here. Hey, Stephen, how are you, my friend? So Stephen says, what makes it so difficult is when the person in charge creates chaos to avoid the truth. That's it right there. What's so difficult? My heart, I can't tell you, Stephen, this is such a powerful insight right here. This is the truth of what many people are doing. They like the narrative because it gives them a reason to not have to face themselves. They can face somebody else and accuse something else. They don't have to face themselves. It's a very difficult yet enlightening statement. It's really the truth. What makes it so difficult is when the person in charge creates chaos to avoid the truth. That's right. Ryan, fight it. You are a victor. You are, my friend. There's something in you it's going on. I've been through too much in the past. I refuse to be a victim. That's right. And the truth is, when we take a look at the false narratives that are happening right now, when we take a look at those false narratives, a lot of people choose to want to be a victim because it's easier than facing yourself and have people saying, but you don't have to worry about that, do you? Are you willing to call yourself out? Like, Scott could have said that to me. Yeah, it was Scott. Scott could have said that to me and I could have blown him off. I could have said, no, that's not blah, blah, blah. You have to get real with yourself. If you can't get real with yourself, how can you get real with the world? How can you have real success or real relationships or any piece of reality at all? You see, you get to define your reality. And if they can get you to believe their definition of reality, you've let go of your freedom and you've let go of your liberty. Nobody can intend better than you can for yourself. There's no intention anybody can have for you that is stronger and more helpful than the intention you have for yourself in your life. That's the power of having this moment in time. Donnie says this moment is living in the now. This moment, right now, you are sitting on the side of a beautiful, peaceful mountain, 8,000, yes, with coffee in hand, 8,000 feet up, as the breeze is gently blowing on this glorious day. Right now, you are sharing your now. What is your now? Right now. And that's the perfect thing. I want to say this. Eckhart Tolle, he had this thing he used to tell us. He would say, if you're worried about the future, then you're not in the present. And how do you come back to the present? You just simply sit there and you look around, and then you say to yourself, is everything okay in this moment? Yes. Is everyone whom I love right now, are they okay in this moment? Yes. And here's what I know. I know this is a hard thing. I know no matter what happens, like I have aging parents, and I lost my dad last year. He was 89, and he was ready to die. He was actually ready to die. And when I look at my mom or I look at my sisters, I know that the moment upon my death and their death, they were ready to die. It was the time they were supposed to go. And the only person who has an attachment to them is me. Now, when they get on the other side, they can look down and go, yeah, there she is. She's doing her thing. You're doing good. And they tap you around. See, I'm here. I'm still with you. I'm still with you. But they're not in pain. They're not. And they understand at that point the illusion of the world. The only one who's got an attachment is you. And if you hold on to that attachment of them leaving and dying, and they're suddenly gone forever and ever and ever, then you can't move on with your life. You're just in the rest of your life grieving. And to me, I'm certain that when my sister or anyone, my dad passed away, I know the thing he would say to me is, girl, don't grieve, keep going, have fun. Don't grieve, keep going, have fun. I can hear that in that head. It's like, take everything I taught you because you're going to need it. And so this thing about hanging on to past pains and past traumas help you avoid the gloriousness of this moment right now, the place that we're headed into right now. I want to talk about this beautiful place to be, Stephen Uselak. Yes. I think that is like one of the best places we can be. So I want to tell you, I put in the title of the show today, it's scrolling on the bottom, the false narratives and hidden agenda in your future. That's the hook right there that everybody's using. It's the one that pulls you in because you're like, what's his take on the false narrative? Is there a hidden agenda? Every time Q drops a Q post, the entire world leaves themselves and they go over there and they read that Q post. And they're like, something is absolutely, they're feverishly looking and seeing to see what is happening. It's taken them so far out of their world, being that in that place. We have to understand where you look around my world and I ask myself, what do I want to have happen? Because there's a place in me where I truly believe that I get a say in how I get to play out with this trauma that's happening, this unknown, uncertain. Notice that I called it trauma. It's a trauma because it is pulling you away from your center. Your whole soul and is being sucked down below while your mind is being entertained by this pandemic. It's being entertained, all your thoughts, all your thinking, all your this, and we lose our center of divinity. We lose our center where all the answers are. We can't tap that field of possibilities. And the joy of being able to create your experience is such an empowering tool to have. The joy, it's so enriching to be able to call yourself out in the moment and say, wait a minute, is this true? Is it really true? Or is it just another narrative? What's true for me? What does the inside soul have for me? What does it want to say? Not what my mind wants to say. What does my soul want to say? It's great that you have a mind, but it talks all the time, right? My mind is constantly talking all the time. And sometimes I have to say, could you just wait a minute? Just 1 minute. And check in down here and say, what does my soul have to say? How do you feel about things? What do you want to do? What would make you happy? What do you believe the divine wants for you to do? And take a step in that direction. Focus on that. If you want to turn this ship around, you can't keep feeding it the fuel that it wants. You have to feed the fuel of love and soul. I want to go over here because so many of you are there. And this is my unknown friend, my new friend. Some experiences we just have to go through, even though we usually revert to fight or flight mode. Avoidance just amps up the fear emotions until you complete that experience that contains that baked in lesson. Yes, we have to find that baked in lesson. Thank you for that. And the beauty of it is that you realize you have the choice and you make it with intention. You are, and you know what? I want to go back right now. If I can leave you with one thing for the weekend, I want to leave you with Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer said it, change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change. Change the way you look at things, change your perspective of things, change your point of view of things, change your attention on things, and the things you look at will change. That's the most powerful thing that we have right now. You're a great role model for dealing with yourself and circumstances from a place of compassion. Thank you for that. That's the really big thing. Wow, I had to read that a couple of times to catch the depth of that for me. Whoa. So what's the lesson? Check in more frequently and deal with the lesson immediately instead of letting it escalate and repeat. I want you guys to have this. Thank you for all the insight sharing. Thank you. That's just my insight. I just wanted to share that with you today. I know we're living in uncertain times, but I promise you, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. And I know I'm feeling very tender this morning, really, really tender, because I realized how sucked in I was. And that when I pulled myself out of that confusion, I actually had to ask the reason why I liked to be in the confusion. And I think that's one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself. Why do you care? Because I'll tell you what, do you think Elon Musk is worried about what's going on here? He's worried about his company and getting funding and stuff like that. But he's still looking at his mission and his vision and how he can help. Same with probably Oprah and, I'm guessing all of these. I'm trying to use entrepreneurs, we all know. But if you're an entrepreneur, you have creativity, you have that same impulse. You have to make the choice right now. You have to make the choice. You're going to get lost in the narrative or lost in your purpose. Lost in the narrative or lost in your purpose. And the choice is yours. And if you know that you have the power to change the way you look at things, and you can actually ask yourself, why am I so enchanted with the conversations happening right now? Why am I so happy to be looking at the false narratives and talking about it with people at arm's length? Because it gives you a commonality of connection. You're trying to connect outwardly versus inwardly. Inwardly, it's quiet. It almost feels lonely while you're waiting there for the master to show up. When you go inward, it's very silent. It's not exciting. In fact, sometimes if you go inward and you're waiting, it can get boring. And there's so much work to do. It's not just the inner work. It's the actual activity of making the product, the company, the this, the whatever that. There's so much to it. And is it a risk? Yeah. Does it grow faith? You bet it does. It's the thing that wants you. That divine piece wants you. Just want to say, I love this so much. Love yourself and be still. That's the whole way out of it, to be still. If you want to change the way you look at things, you got to do what Isabel Tierney taught us. Stop. Call yourself out on it. Love this. Stay true to you, purpose only. If it's a true purpose, it's got to be a true purpose. Love this. Lost in the narrative or lost in the purpose. Powerful. Thank you. That's really what's going to happen. You'll either be lost in the narrative or lost in the purpose. And there's a point where you have to decide that you're going to give up looking for narratives. and create your narrative. Stop looking for the narrative and create your narrative. That's how we get grounded in this life and in that purpose. It's like you either have your purpose, and your purpose is there, but does your purpose actually have you? Does it actually have your attention, your focus? Your purpose, yeah, I get that you have a purpose, but does your purpose actually have you? Does it actually have a way of hanging out with you because you're together? Or you split intentions? Because I will tell you what, this false narrative is like the sexiest, most beautiful man or woman, whatever you're into, in your life that you've ever seen. And it's like being completely drawn to them. And all you could do is drool, hoping that you're going to go out on a date with this person and be with them. You have to come back. It's false. It's fake. It's not real. And what the confusion is that you'll lose yourself there. And I got to tell you this is really important. This is so insightful. You know, Stephen makes these one little sentences that you can read, but you need to be with them for a little bit, because the insight inside them, it's so true. Stay true to your purpose only if it's a true purpose. Is it a true purpose? Because you can have false purposes. Stop looking for the narrative and create your narrative. That's right. Here we go. I know I will come out on the other side of this a better person because of what I came in with. Stephen, there can't be better people than you. Every time that you step out and you say, I'm going to come out a better person, if we could have 1,000 more people, 1 million more people trying to be a better person like you, imagine what the world would be like. Here we go. Bam. Thank you. You guys have a great weekend. I'm going to see you tomorrow. That's Thursday. Tomorrow I'm going to see you, and it's going to be Friday, Success Day. We're going to have some fun. Thank you for allowing me to share my epiphanies and my inner proclivities with you. And I enjoy you guys so much. Mwah. Peace out.